What's going on, everybody? This is Shane Sams from the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast and flippedlifestyle.com. And I am driving right now. I'm driving on the interstate. I'm heading to Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm driving our brand new Black Label Lincoln Navigator. And I'm actually driving it to the body shop because last week I wrecked this car. That's right. Jocelyn and I bought this Lincoln Navigator a few months ago. I think we've had it for about 3 to 4 months now. And we paid over $100,000 for this custom exclusive Lincoln Navigator. And yesterday, after only 3 months of ownership, I wrecked it. So what happened was, it wasn't my fault, and nobody got hurt, thank goodness. So everything was fine. But I was coming out of the gym and I was pulling across a 4-lane highway, and I was trying to merge into, turn left. I was trying to turn left, go through 2 lanes of traffic, and then turn left. As I was coming across the first lane, I heard a siren, heard a police siren, and I looked over to my right, and in the distance, I saw these blue lights flashing, and there was a cop car coming very fast. From my right. So I stopped in the middle and kind of pulled off to the side a little bit. I didn't try to merge in front of him and then pull over. I kind of stopped in between, the 2 lanes of traffic. And here he comes. He comes flying by. Turns out he was chasing a criminal. Some guy had stole a boat, and he had recognized the stolen boat, and this guy was in hot pursuit of this bad guy. That's why he was driving so fast. So I stopped, sat there for a couple seconds. Right as the cop gets to me and he almost passes me, bam, I get hit from behind by this guy in a pickup truck. And it kind of pushed me forward, and it really kind of stunned me a little bit, but nobody got hurt. Everything was fine. But this sick feeling hit me right in the stomach when I realized that I had wrecked our brand new vehicle. This vehicle that, we had worked really hard for. We had set a goal to drive a vehicle like this. This was a reward, a celebration for 6 years of really, really hard work by me and Jocelyn to go out and buy the exact vehicle that we wanted, brand new, a vehicle that we never could have dreamed to have even test drove off the lot 5 years ago. This was our celebration. This was our reward. And I realized just, after I was like, okay, I'm not hurt, man, we just destroyed this car. So I was kind of scared to get out. I sat in the car for a minute and just shook my head like, oh my goodness, are you serious? What's going on? Reached down, text Jocelyn, hey, got in a wreck. And the first thing she said back to me, she texted me back and said, OMG, are you okay? And I said, yes, I'm fine. Everything's okay. And that kind of put things into perspective immediately sitting there at the beginning of this wreck. Because, the first thing Jocelyn was worried about was me. She wasn't worried about this car, wasn't worried about how much money we spent on it. She was worried about me being okay. So that kind of snapped me back to reality. Got out of the car, went back. The guy was walking toward me and he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I looked at him and I said, are you okay? Are you okay? And we both kind of pat each other on the shoulder and kind of gave each other a little hug, and we realized that we were both fine. Everything was okay. I could see the cop car swinging around in the next median because apparently the police have a rule where if they see an accident, they've got to break off pursuit. So he broke off pursuit of the bad guy that stole the boat, comes back, pulls in, and he got out, and he just looked like he felt so bad because he knew that this car I was driving in was expensive. He said that to me. He goes, I'm sorry, man. I've never seen that happen before. And, I'm like, man, it's not your fault. That was just a chain of events. It was just out of all of our control. It just happened. And I walked back to the back of the car, looked at the Navigator, and the whole back door was bent in, and the bumper in the back was kind of knocked off. And I looked at it and I was like, man, all that's going to have to be replaced. All that's going to have to be fixed. The car was fine driving, didn't affect anything in the driving stuff. It was just really cosmetic, destroyed the back of the vehicle. So it looks kind of crazy. Anybody right behind me right now is like, why is this guy driving this broken car? Did he steal this off a junkyard lot or something? But the worst part was, I looked down, we had ordered this personalized license plate for this vehicle. It says FL y'all, for Flipped Lifestyle y'all. And it was such an ordeal. We had to explain why we wanted it, what it meant. We went back and forth with the state, and it took like 2 months to get this stupid license plate. Literally just got it a couple weeks ago. Finally screwed it into the back of the vehicle. And he hit it square in the license plate. I mean, it just destroyed it. So now even when we get this car fixed, we're gonna have to wait forever. We're gonna have to wait forever to get this thing done. So, and then I look back at the poor guy's car that hit me, and you know, it was kind of an old pickup truck, and it just crumpled the front of his car. Like, his car was totaled. I was able to drive home, drive away. I'm able to drive down to take the car to this body shop that we want to use down here in Knoxville. And that poor guy's car was just destroyed. I mean, it was just smashed all in the front. And I looked back at the Navigator and I was like, man, that wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because this car is just so massive and so huge. It's a tank. Weighs like 7,000, 8,000 pounds or something crazy. Again, I was just thankful my car was in better shape than that guy's. And, you know, he kept assuring me, this, all right, man, we all got insurance. Everything's good. So, you know, nobody was mad. Nobody was hurt. But, man, this car that we had dreamed about was destroyed. And filled out all the paperwork. It starts pouring rain. I'm sitting in the rain waiting for this cop to bring me my license and my insurance back. And, you know, he tells me, hey, it's going to be 3 or 4 days before there's a police report. Then you can turn it in and make a claim. And, you know, just call and give them this number and everything will be fine. And just, you know, good luck. So here I am driving home. Much like today, I'm driving in a rainstorm. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background right now. I'm hoping that I drive out of it and the audio quality is okay on this podcast. But, you know, it starts raining, I'm driving home, and then, you know, I get a little down again. I start thinking about the car, start feeling bad about it. And then I just kind of started laughing. I don't know why. I just started like giggling as I made the final turn to get home. And I get home and I've hit the garage door. Jocelyn's waiting for me in the doorway, and her hand's on her forehead, and she's kind of got this little half grin on, and she's kind of just shaking her head. And we both go back and look at the back of the car, and we sigh. And we're like, man, this thing is like smashed. What are we gonna do? And we got to talking about it, and we had a good laugh about it. We almost had a good cry about it, and we just had this great discussion about this material thing, this thing that we loved, this thing that is a joy to drive, this thing that we feel blessed and lucky to even own, and now it's broken. And it was nobody's fault, wasn't our fault. Nothing we could have done to control it. I couldn't have controlled that guy crashing into my rear, right? I'd been stopped for multiple seconds before that guy actually hit me. It was just, this was something that was totally out of our control. And we started talking about it, and we came up, in the discussion, I learned 3 really important lessons about life, about success, and about, you know, the things that we think are important in life. And that's what I want to share with you today. I know it was a long-winded intro to get to this point in this podcast, but I wanted to share these 3 lessons that I learned from crashing a $109,000 car, okay? All right. So the first thing I learned from this experience is life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you react to it. And that came straight from Jocelyn as we were talking about it in the kitchen, and we were both, you know, just thankful that, you know, I didn't get hurt and the wreck wasn't worse than it was. And, you know, we were thankful that I was alone and the kids weren't in the car. And we laughed a little bit about how we'd only owned this car for 3 months. And, you know, we drew in a wreck. We got into a wreck because of it. And I've not been in a wreck in 20 years. I've literally not wrecked a car since college. So this has been 20 years since the last time I got in a wreck. We were both just really having a good time with it. And Jocelyn said, hey, it's not about what happens to us, it's how we react to it. So how are we going to react to this? And man, that really just put things in perspective, because this is the most expensive thing other than a house that Jocelyn and I have ever owned, right? This is probably the biggest investment that we've ever made with our money, but the biggest thing we've ever purchased in one single purchase besides a house. And man, we easily could have got depressed. We easily could have said, woe is me. We easily could have said, how could this happen? We worked so hard to get to this point, and then, you know, everything got swept right out from under us. And we could have got mad at this dude who hit me in the back and said, why'd you do that? Don't you know how expensive this car is? Don't you know you should have been more careful? I could have been mad at the cop, you know, for driving in front of me. Could have been mad at even the thief that stole the boat that caused the whole chain of events to happen. But no, man, there was nothing we could have done to control it. And I was just kind of like, I was happy that the other guy wasn't hurt. I felt bad for him because I know that me and Jocelyn the other day were going to be okay. We're going to figure this out. We're going to sort it out. Kind of started worrying about that guy. Did he have liability insurance only? Was that the only car that he had to get to work? You know, Jocelyn and I have a pickup truck and 2 other vans that we use for transportation. We're going to be fine. You know, it's not going to, this is just a hiccup in our day in the grand scheme of things. You know, start thinking about that other guy and start thinking about all these things and worrying about the cop because he felt so bad. And then thinking about how we were going to react to this. You know, what were we going to teach the kids about this? Because the kids were really sad when they saw the Navigator. And Isaac's first intentions, thing to his mind was, I can't believe that guy hit you. So I had to stop and say, no, man, don't say you can't believe the guy hit me. Say, hey, was that guy okay? Are you okay? You know, put things in perspective, react properly to the situation, and put these things, these items, this material possession in its place. Let's not get upset about that. Let's keep the main thing, and let's react accordingly. So that's really the first thing that I learned from this, from my wife, Jocelyn, because she said this. She said, it's not about what happens to us, it's about how we react to it. And we pass that message to our kids. So this bad thing, turned into a really powerful teaching moment, really powerful parenting moment, and a really powerful learning moment for us and our family. All right, so the second thing that I learned from crashing and wrecking and smashing a $100,000 car is that solutions take time. Solutions take time, and you're going to need patience if you want to see the solution through. So this vehicle that I'm driving right now, this Lincoln Navigator, is not totaled, it's not destroyed. It's going to be repaired. It's going to need a new back door. It's going to need a new bumper. We're probably going to have to paint it to make everything match again and get it looking brand new, right? That's not going to be easy. When you buy a custom vehicle, when you buy a special kind of vehicle like this, like there's only so many of these in the country and they're back ordered for months, the parts are probably not available. We called the dealership yesterday, talked to our guy there, and he said, hey, look, we might be able to make an emergency order for that, but more than likely, you know, it's going to be a couple months before we can even get the door, before we can even get the bumper. We can give you an estimate right now. We can tell you how much it's going to cost. We can get the process started, but it's going to take a long time to get those parts. So it's going to take time. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to drive a wrecked vehicle around town with a crumpled up personalized license plate. We're going to have to take our kids to school in this crashed vehicle, and that's okay. We're just going to have to be patient because solutions take time. Not only that, we might have to wait another 8 weeks for the license plate to get fixed. Not only that, I got to go get the police report. I'm going to have to take time out of my day and drive up to the next county courthouse to pick up the police report. I'm going to have to make a claim, meet with the claims adjuster. He's going to have to look at the quote. We're going to have to negotiate how much that's going to be. This could be 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks before our vehicle is restored, before our property is fixed, before the solution to this problem comes to an end. And that's okay, because solutions take time. I can get mad at the DMV or the police report for taking so much time. I can get mad at Ford Lincoln for not having parts ready to fix my problem. I can get frustrated that other people are seeing my crushed up car and maybe judging me like, that guy can't drive, maybe he backed into a pole or whatever, and driving around a crashed around car. It's kind of weird when you first start driving a car and it's got a wreck. You feel like people are looking at you. You feel like people are judging you. And I'm like, what are you doing? You can't do that. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. So solutions take time. You got to be patient. You can't be frustrated. Everybody's going to have something bad happen to them, and everybody's going to have to fix something. And not everything is going to work around our timetable. It's hard to hear this. It's hard to think this. It's hard to look into the camera or look into the mirror and say this, but the world doesn't revolve around us. Nobody thinks we're special. The universe doesn't think we're special. We're all just living our lives. The guy making the parts, he can't make them any faster, right? The people selling the cars, they can't sell them any quicker. There are things up the chain they can't control, right? The police guy who filled out the report, he can't make the person filing the report file it any faster. I can't control what's happening inside the insurance claims office to determine when their claims adjuster can come out and settle the claim. So when you've got problems, even when they feel big in the moment, right? Like even when you want a resolution really fast, you got to look at yourself and say, solutions take time, and I've got to be patient so that I can see this solution through. Okay? All right, so that's the second thing I learned. First thing was we can't control what happens to us. We can only control how we react to it in the moment. The second lesson that I learned from crashing a $100,000 car is that solutions take time, and you just got to be patient. And number three, the third lesson that I learned from crashing my Lincoln Navigator is that no matter how successful you are and no matter how good you think you got it, bad things happen to everybody. So you better be prepared. Bad things are always going to happen. You know, we get this all the time. People look at me and Jocelyn, they're like, oh, look at Shane and Jocelyn. They're so successful. They've got the Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to gold. Everything always works out for them. They ain't got no problems. Nothing bad ever happens to them. And we think this on the other side of success. We look up and go, man, if I just had a little bit more money, if I just had a more successful business, if I just had a little bit more control over my time, everything would work out. Everything would be okay. I wouldn't have any problems. You know, if I just had a little more money in my bank account, just had a little more time to myself, just had a little bit more control over my life. That's not true. A guy that buys a $10,000 car or a $2,000 used car has an equal chance to get in a wreck as me, who bought the $100,000 car, because we're on the road together. I'm on the road right now. I'm stuck in traffic right now on the interstate. There's a wreck right ahead of me. That dude, I'm literally like, look how slow that traffic's going by if you're watching this video on YouTube. But I'm looking straight ahead. I'm sitting in a standstill in traffic because somebody had a wreck right in front of me. And there's nothing that I can do about this. Nothing I can do about it, right? There's nothing he can do about it. We have the equal chance of getting into a car wreck. You know, I've got a website. My website can crash. Just like just like you. If you just started your online business today and you just went out there and you just installed your WordPress website, your website could crash. My website could crash. It's crashed before. It was down just a couple months ago for a little while until we fixed it, right? No matter how successful you are, bad things are going to happen. In the last few weeks, we've had a lot of things happen around our house. We had our refrigerator ice thing. The ice machine broke and all the ice melted and it flooded our kitchen. The hottest day of the summer this year, our air conditioner went out. Got this big, nice house. Yeah, we've got a nice property. It sits on a lake and all that stuff. You all see it in our Instagram pictures. You see it on Facebook. Our air conditioner goes out just like everybody else's does. It broke. It took like 2 or 3 days to get the guy out there to fix it. And we sweltered at night and, you know, had the windows open and all the fans blowing. No matter how successful you are, just when you think you've made it, bad things can still happen. And the important lesson there really is to just admit that and just realize, even in the beginning of your journey, if you're just starting your online business journey, that, you know, bad things are going to happen even when you become successful. We replace the problems we have now with the problems that we're going to have later. There's always going to be bad things happening. It can get better. You can have more control. You can have more resources to deal with the problems, right? You can have more time, you can have more money, and that helps you mitigate the disasters. But bad things are still going to happen. It's never going to go away. That's just a part of life, and we've got to be prepared. How was I prepared for the air conditioner going out? Well, I've got a guy. I've got an AC guy that whenever anything goes out, I call him, and he comes and he fixes my air conditioner. Got his number in my phone. I'm prepared just in case that situation happens. How do we prepare for crashing a brand new 3-month-old $100,000 Lincoln Navigator? Well, I have full coverage insurance. I've got the dealership. I only work on my cars at the dealership, even though it's more expensive, because they usually can get parts faster. They've got more expertise fixing these kind of vehicles than some random person. And if I spend a little more up front, I usually get more out of it on the back end. And I've got that guy's phone number. It was on my cell phone, so I was ready to call him and let it go. I've got the information for the police report and the title right here in the seat, because it's going to be ready tomorrow, and I need to go get that. So I don't want to forget it. I've got it here. I'm going to take this to the other vehicle when I switch up here at the dealership and get in the car with Jocelyn, and I'm prepared for that. So don't think all your problems will be solved just because you have an online business, just because you got a little more time, just because you get more successful as you go along. There will always be bad things happen. It's a trick. It's a mental bad trick that we do to ourselves to say everything will be okay, because then we get to a certain place of success, we achieve something, and we're not content. We feel bad. We always want more. We're never able to enjoy what we've accomplished because we thought everything would be perfect when we got to the next level. Then we realized bad things happen at the next level, and they're always going to happen. We can just be more prepared for them and kind of lessen the impact of them. So that's the 3 things I learned from this experience. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it was a terrible feeling when it happened. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I've got everything figured out, and I was happy and go lucky, and it's okay. We'll solve all of our problems and sunshine and rainbows. It sucked. It was terrible. Like when that happened, I was like, oh, I wanted to puke right in the car. But the good thing is nobody got hurt, and I had 3 great life lessons from this experience that I never would have had before. And if I had not went through it and crashed this car. And, you know, again, I was really thankful that I was in this big, huge car during that wreck, because what if I'd been in a smaller vehicle? I believe that God knew that that was going to happen to me, and knew I was going to be in that wreck, knew that that was going to happen. And he put me in a really safe vehicle to keep me safe and make sure I didn't get hurt and nothing happened. And he taught me 3 powerful life lessons. 1, you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you react to it. 2, solutions take time. You gotta master patience in your life. And 3, no matter how successful you become, just when you think you've arrived, bad things happen. Bad things happen to everybody. Rich and poor, powerful and weak, good looking, bad looking, big and little. Bad things happen to all of us, and we've got to be prepared to deal with those things when they happen. So hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Hope you guys got something from the lessons that I took away. Hope you can apply these lessons to your life, to your online business. If you're listening to this in your car, drive safe. Keep an eye on that rearview mirror. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what other people are doing out there on the road. And until next time, get out there and do whatever it takes to flip your life. Get that online business started. Start getting that revenue flowing in. Start taking back control of your time so that you can be more prepared to handle bad things when they happen. I'll see you next time.